everybody, I hope you're having an awesome week. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make origami paper cranes, which, for those of you who don't know, it's a type of bird. They're going to come out looking something like this. So origami paper cranes are one of the most traditional pieces of origami. This is what first got me interested in origami, and I hope that you enjoy them as well. If you're interested in a little bit of the culture behind this one, you should take a look at the Museum of 1,000 Paper Cranes, which has some beautiful artwork made out of paper cranes, and I found it to be a very uplifting story as to how it was created, about people kind of coming together in the wake of a tragedy. So if you are interested, please take a look at that and the backstory of these little guys, because it's very inspiring. Alright, so I'm going to pan down so you can see what I'm doing for the folds. You're just going to need one piece of paper today and cut into a square. So if you need help folding a perfect square, you can take a piece of regular printer paper, fold one of the corners down like a triangle, and then just cut that little rectangle off at the end. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get it as close as you can to a perfect square. For me, I'm going to be using some pre-cut origami paper, so if you need to, just pause the video for a second and cut your paper out. Alrighty, so now that you have your little square all cut, we're going to begin. My paper is two different colors. It's green on one side and white on the other side, so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit better, so you know which side to be folding on. Alright, so I'm going to start on the colored side. You can pick either side of your paper, and I'm going to fold it into a triangle. So right along this line here, fold it into a triangle, and the more precise you can get these, the better the final product will be. So I try to line up the corners here, hold on, and then pinch this line right here. You can go over it nicely with your fingernails so that that crease is really folded in there. Alright, and then we're going to open that up. And we're going to do one in the other direction to make a perpendicular line right there. Okay, so we're going to turn it and make another triangle. And open it up. So you should be left with your square having two diagonal lines going across that intersect right here at the middle. Alrighty, we're going to turn it over now to the other side, my white side, your other side of the paper, and you're going to fold it like a book to make a rectangle. So I'm going to fold it along this line right here. This, increase it. Open it up, and you're going to fold it like a book the other way right here. And open it up. So you should be left with your piece of paper having two diagonal lines, a horizontal line, and a vertical line like that all intersect right here at the middle. Okay? If your paper matches up with mine like this, we're ready to continue. So this is probably one of the trickiest steps, but I'm sure you can get it. You guys got this. You're going to let the paper kind of collapse along these folds that you just made. So we're just going to push it in like this. I'm having my colored side on the outside, just whichever way the paper naturally folds into this square here. And you're going to have to squish it a little bit, so there will be two layers. Squish it down like this. I'm going to redo that step just in case that one was hard to see. Alright, so you have all your folds here. You're going to press on the center and just fold along those lines you just made and squash it down. Okay, so you're left with a smaller square with lots of layers here. Alright, now pay close attention to this. One of your sides does not open, it's just a corner. The other side opens like that. We are going to make the side that opens the bottom. Okay, so this is the bottom. Alright, you're going to take this first layer here and line this line up with that center fold right there. So we're going to take this and fold it in to that center line and crease it, so it's going to make a triangle. You can see right here this little triangular flap right here. So you're going to crease that. Now you're going to make this side match it. So we're going to take this side and fold it along like that. I'm gonna fix mine facing me for a second so I can show you. Just like that, so you have a little kite shape going here. Perfect. Okay, now turn it over this way. You still want to make sure those flaps are at the bottom. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. So fold this one in, and on your second side you can use this as a bit of a guideline, kind of helpful hint. So you can see it should line up pretty closely to that. Doesn't have to be perfect though. This is your first try. You can always do it again and get better. Practice makes perfect. Alright, so we have half a kite, and we're going to make the other side match right here. Alright, I'll give you a second to get caught up. Okay, so now we're going to open those flaps a little bit. You're going to peel this layer up like this, and you're going to see that it won't really peel all the way up, and just very gently push it to try to make it lie flat. And you're going to use those folds you just made. It's like you're opening, it's like a bird opening its beak. I'm going to let it collapse on those folds. And it's a little tricky. It might take you a couple tries, but I'm sure you'll get the hang of it. If you need to, rewind and replay that video. It might not line up perfectly on the top. You can see mine doesn't. I wasn't very neat about it, but you just want to make sure that's flat, and it'll make one big diamond when you do that. Okay? Now we're going to turn it over to this side and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to open these flaps up, peel this first layer, keep peeling it up, and then kind of start collapsing these flaps in. Might just have to mess with it a little bit until it lies flat, and you'll notice when it collapses along those folds. Okay, so now we have a diamond on both sides. Alright, next step, we're going to make these little legs down here, we're going to make them a little skinnier. Like this guy's running everywhere, whoo, whoo, and his legs are getting skinnier. So we're going to take this line again and fold it towards that center line, just like we did a second ago. So I'll do it first, and then you can do yours so you see what it looks like. So you're going to fold it in like that. Alright, and we're going to repeat that on both sides. So I just did this one. Now we're going to fold this side in to match up with it. Like that. Once you've done those two, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I know this one gets a bit repetitive. So we're going to fold this one in. Oops. As you can see, the neater you were earlier, the easier this step will be. I wasn't all that precise when I did my folds earlier. Alright. So now you can see you have one of the skinny legs finished. Now we're going to do this side. Fold it in to match up. Alright, so you should be left with a much skinnier diamond, kind of a kite shape, and these two little legs. Alrighty, so for the next step, we are going to open the doors. So you can see these two layers on either side. So we're going to flip it. So we're going to take these and we're going to open it and take this side and open it at the same time and squash it the other way. And you might have to tuck these flaps in, but they're going to end up going in anyway. So you should end up with it looking like this, like a little pointy-faced fox with two little ears up here. I'm going to do that step one more time because that one also might be a little confusing over the camera. So I'm just going to show you closer up so you can see what I was doing. So you have this shape on both sides, and you're going to open these pockets. Open them, and squish it this way so that you're left with your little fox face. Alright, now this little fox here, he is super hungry, so he's going to open his mouth up wide. So you're going to pull this flap all the way up as far as it can go without ripping the paper. Should end up being around the same height as these. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you're going to pull it up like that, like he's opening his mouth in a big yawn. Okay? Now we're going to turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. Pull this last flap all the way up, like that. So you should be left with a little, like, Disney castle shape right here. Okay? If at any point you're having trouble, feel free to pause and rewind. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, so next step, just like we did before, we're going to open these panels on both sides and squish it down. Now this part's going to be, might seem a little hard because you're going to have to be folding these, but don't worry about it. They're meant to get crushed and they don't have to be perfect. So we're going to open this flap and this flap and squish it the other way, like that. So you can see this is getting folded in half and this one's getting folded in half. So you end up with this little, almost like a tall house shape right here. Okay? I'll do that step again. You guys don't have to unfold yours, I'm just going to show it again closer to the camera so you can see. So I have this right here, and we are going to pull these two in and pull these two together, so you're left with this. Alright, now we're getting into the final few steps here. You're going to reach in, grab one of those skinny little legs you made before, and pull it down. You want to be gentle about this step, so pull it down a little bit and then squish right here to crease it. And we're going to do the other side, so gently pull this down and crease it right here. So you can see mine are kind of messy. You can fix that with your fingernail. Just go in there and crease these a little bit tighter like that so you can make it neater. Okay, so for this step, you're going to pick your neatest side. So I think this one looks a little bit neater on mine, so I'm not going to touch that side. I'm going to take my messy side right here and just fold the tip over like that, which is going to become the head of our bird. So you have a little head there and a tail. Okay, and for the final step, we're going to open up the wings like this bird is getting ready to fly. Okay, so see these two flaps up here? You're going to grab one in each hand and gently pull them down like this. Okay, if you want to, you can kind of bend it a little more like that to make more rounded wings. But that's your crane right there. Here's your little birdie. Some people like to kind of pull on these wings a little and try to flatten this middle piece out. But that is totally up to you. A lot of the traditional ones just leave it pointy like this in the center. And you did it. Here's your little bird. Feel free to get creative with this if you want to draw on the wings or draw on the paper before you fold it. Whatever floats your boat. But here's your little birdie. They make excellent pets, especially for desks, because, you know, very low maintenance this paper is. And they're great. If you're interested in origami, it's a great thing to learn because this was one of the first really well-known designs, and it's a big part of the origami world. One of the first things I learned, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you wouldn't mind, I would really appreciate it if you would leave in the comments what you guys are interested in, because I want to make sure that I'm making videos that you guys like. So if you're interested in more origami videos, crafts, dancing, or something else that I haven't covered yet, please just leave a comment on there with what you'd like to see me do a video of for the next few weeks, and I will do my best to make one for you. Alright, have an awesome weekend, guys. It was so nice doing this with you again. Adios!